All right, so just so there's some context about my topic today, I just wanted to share, first of all, my current account status on Facebook is restricted. It's actually been restricted for a little while. Now, if you want to see the restrictions, you can't go live for 25 days, and this was starting on September 22nd. And it also says you can't advertise for 25 days. Now, fortunately, since Facebook doesn't pay money for people to go live, I don't go live on Facebook anyway. I haven't been live on Facebook for years, so their restriction meant nothing to me. I also don't advertise anything on Facebook, so their restriction meant nothing to me. As far as restriction histories, you can pretty much see my history of restrictions. Now, most of these came about for bullshit reasons. Either I said something very simple, for instance, I got blocked one time for saying men are wretched creatures because I was talking about something where I saw men simping for some woman. And I said, men are wretched creatures. And if you call a man a simp, for example, or whatever word they don't like, the motherfuckers block you, right? It's just that simple. I'm not even going to try to make any excuses, and I'm not even going to try to excuse myself because, frankly, I don't have to excuse myself for these fucking losers. And then I've been blocked for a whole lot of shit, a whole lot of times, right? Going all the way back, you see restrictions, restrictions, restrictions. Now, I also want to point out one more thing. If you post memes, sometimes like for example, the last time I got restricted, I posted a meme about, what was his name? Hunter Biden. And they didn't like the Hunter Biden meme, so I got fucking restricted for that. And in fact, I might be able to show that meme right now because I want to prove my point. Okay, so this is a meme that I posted. It was a SpongeBob meme. And you get automatically fact checked if it's anything they don't like. Now, keep in mind, this is a picture of fucking SpongeBob. It's a picture of SpongeBob holding a sign. There's no nudity in it. There's no violence in it as far as I'm concerned. But look what they did. They said independent fact checkers reviewed a similar photo and said it was false. Because obviously what they're doing is they're using artificial intelligence and deep learning artificial intelligence in order to scan pictures. And if they see the same picture pop up and they post, let's say, a negative fact check or some shit on that picture, that means that the computer can automatically scan all of Facebook and they can find other similar pictures and they will automatically fact check it. Now, this is the picture up close. And this was my comment. It said, if the Democrats and leftist media didn't have January 6th to distract us with, what would they have used instead? Now, that was just a simple question, no profanity, and it's SpongeBob SquarePants holding a picture that says, you spent more time investigating January 6th than you did 9/11. So naturally, the independent fact checkers were up my ass on that one. And I got restricted. This was the photo that I was talking about that got me restricted. What was this? March 12th, 2021. Now, I want you to understand something. I posted this on March 12th, 2021. However, the restriction didn't come until much, much later. The restriction came in September, even though I posted this in March 2021. It says, no one else can see your post. I hope gas prices don't get too high. It shows a picture of Hunter Biden. Imagine how elated I am to watch Facebook, i.e. Meta, to watch their shares absolutely just evaporating in value. It's like watching like Zuckerberg, all of his money just getting wiped away. And it feels so good. It's actually quite entertaining. As far as I'm concerned, these technocrats are the worst possible. Well, see, first of all, here's the problem. People call these things social media. These things really aren't social media. What these things are these are data mining operations. One thing you got to understand is the government by law cannot collect data on people. They can't collect metadata. They can't collect our personal data. They're not allowed to do that. But they've been trying to figure out ways around the fact that by law that they can't do that. So what they can't do ultimately is they can't aggregate data on us. Like people always feared that there was some kind of supercomputer called the Beast. They thought that there's like some kind of supercomputer in the hills of Nevada or some shit underground. That wasn't true. Unfortunately, it is true because now you have Facebook and you have things like Twitter and you have things like YouTube. These things have been building up metadata on us for a very, very long time. They've been tracking everything. I'm on here making videos on YouTube, but YouTube's not just collecting the videos that I'm purposefully sending them. They're also collecting all of my browsing data. Do y'all really think that pushing the incognito button on fucking Google is going to stop them from getting your information? Of course it's not. These people have collected everything about you. They make you use your cell phone to sign into these servers. They make you receive text messages for two-step verification. They watch what you're looking at. They watch what you're browsing. They watch what you're focused on when you look at advertisements. They ask you questions. They ask you, what are those things? They ask you to do surveys. They've been collecting this fucking data for a very long time. Not just YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all of these things, Snapchat. Now, Apple put one of the first nails in Facebook's coffin by reducing the amount of location and browsing data that they had access to. So Apple, I love Apple. I don't give a shit. Y'all can go and buy Google. Let me tell you something. I don't give a shit if Samsung makes a camera so good that it could zoom into Jupiter. I don't care. I'm not buying it until Apple makes it, period. And I don't even care how ignorant that sounds. Bottom line is, I like the Apple ecosystem. I will stay with it up until I decide to leave. And that's just that simple. So I love the fact that Apple put a bullet right through Facebook's money simply by disallowing them from having my personal information unless I myself say, yeah, you can watch me where I go and watch my location and you can look at my advertisement browsing data and stuff like that. Then I think Google and Apple both did that at roughly the same time. So I think the Android phones, they did the same thing. So they both hurt Facebook severely. As far as I know, the majority of Facebook users actually have iPhones, and the majority of photos that have been posted, as well as the majority of videos uploaded to YouTube, actually come from iPhones, from what I know, when it comes to mobile data specifically. But that's neither here nor there. Watching them lose all their money because they decided to screw with our free speech really feels good. See, the way this works is, first of all, they're building up databases. They're building up data on all of us, right? Now, I want you to think, this is the same shit that they accused the Chinese of. They say, oh, yeah, well, China's got social scoring. And, excuse me, so you're talking about China having social scoring. Meanwhile, here in America, you've got freaking credit scores. It's basically the same thing. A social score, a credit score, this is literally the same thing. What you're doing ultimately with either one is you're tracking behavior. That's what you're doing. So all of the stuff that they've blamed China for and that they blame Russia for, they've been doing that shit right here. It's just that they made it look a little bit different. I remember when they used to talk about the British and UK and how UK has cameras everywhere and the cameras always watching everybody and everything. Guess what? If you put a 4K iPhone or a 4K Samsung in everybody's pocket, and the second some shit goes down, everybody starts recording, and then they upload it to YouTube, well, that's basically the same thing. The difference is, the 4K recording in people's pockets is more efficient because they see something go on, they start recording it, and then they upload it to the internet, and they make it as efficient as possible. They even edit the goddamn videos because they're trying to, make a channel for themselves. That's basically techno-fascism when you really think about it. This is a technocracy. This is techno-fascism. What you're doing is you're dealing with radical corporations that have control over our free speech. It doesn't even matter which one it is, Yahoo, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever. They are censoring us. The government, Congress shall make no law to censor us, but these technocrats are. Now, what I think is so funny is how much money Facebook has lost. It's not as if they didn't pay the price for screwing with our free speech. No, they're paying the price. They have lost more than $500 billion over a certain period of time. Like, if you look right here, their high was, what was this? Their high was 382 per share. Their high was 382 per share. I think over the 10-year period, yeah, it was about 382 per share, right? Now, right now, shit, what is it? They're right now, after hours, they're 107, in fact. Today, they plunged, and right now, they're at 107.75. That's after hours. So that means when you'll wake up in the morning, Facebook is looking at themselves having lost another 17%, minus 17%. Read it and weep. I call them Meta. I call them Facebook. I don't call them Meta. See, part of this was because of these advertising policies. Part of this was because a lot of people started leaving because of political anger. They were angry that they realized that Facebook was a liberal leftist platform and that they were in the tank for the Democrats and such and such. But the other part of this is Zuckerberg is such a fucking idiot. And now I'm really starting to believe what the social media said about him. They said he stole the idea. They said it wasn't his idea. They said he was a social misfit that nobody liked and that he stole the idea for Facebook. That's what the social media movie basically said. And he ended up having to pay those people off just to get them off his ass so that he could make his billions, which he's suddenly losing now. And this moron really decided to double down on virtual reality and then change the name of Facebook to Meta, which made no sense at all. Most investors even say that to this day. That made no sense at all. You double down on virtual reality. First of all, nobody gave a fuck about Facebook when they went out and bought an Oculus Quest 2, because I know I didn't. The last thing people who bought Oculus Quest 2 wanted was to have to sign into Facebook. Ultimately, Facebook dropped that requirement, so you don't have to use this to sign in. Now they're putting out Meta Quest, I believe it is. It's because they're doubling down on this metaverse bullshit. And the thing about it is all the metaverses right now is a vehicle for NFTs and cryptocurrency, because the reality is the technology is really not there right now for real virtual reality to really, really get you in. And I have to admit, Quest 2 is very entertaining. Hooking it up to DCS World and playing, flight simulators, very entertaining. You can do space simulators, whatever you want. It's very, very entertaining, yes. The problem is it causes fucking headaches and it causes eye pain. And a lot of people don't even want to use the damn thing. Like I'm looking at my Quest 2 right over there. I haven't picked that thing up and I can't even tell you when. I haven't used it. Maybe it could have been a year since the last time I used it. One of my family members, I let him test mine out, and then he wanted one. And I was like, well, maybe before you go buy one, you might want to let the price come down. But of course he didn't. He just had to have it for whatever reason. So he went out and bought the shit at full price. But he's rich, so I guess he didn't really give a shit. Thing about it is, every time I go over there, that thing is just sitting there. It's like collected dust. Nobody's touching it. After a while, like, most of these gimmicks, they get boring, and a lot of people really aren't into it. There's only so many people you can get to do this virtual reality shit, and I have theories about that. One of them, and I'm not going to belabor this, one of the problems with virtual reality headsets is that unlike Bluetooth stereo headsets, there is no standard for wireless HD video. When you get a Bluetooth headset, you can connect it to anything. You can connect it to any iPhone, any Android phone, any PlayStation, any Xbox, anything that has Bluetooth for the most part. What they don't have is they don't have a wireless HD video standard, for one. So that means that connecting one of those headsets to other things is very, very tedious, very, very difficult. You know how it feels to connect Bluetooth to a cell phone. It takes, 10 seconds. You hold the button, it says syncing, it syncs, and that's it. It's connected. That's it. With one of these virtual reality headsets, it's way too tedious. It's way too involving. There is a way that I can use my Quest 2 wirelessly with my computer. I honestly have no fucking idea how to do it, and I haven't even bothered looking into how to do it because it's not something that lends itself well to doing. The other problem is cryptocurrencies and NFTs. Those shits have gone bust. So most of these people who they were trying to sucker into the metaverse, most of them basically stayed away. Most of these people have lost so much money in cryptocurrency, they can't afford to buy a headset. So they're not buying it. But yeah, that's the story with Meta for the most part. Meta decided to fuck with my free speech, and now they're paying the price. And this is what it is. Facebook earnings cut in half. Meta stock heads towards lowest prices in more than 6 years. Now, I know they think that this is a signal to buy, but I think most people, after watching these other people lose all of this money, just like cryptocurrency, most of these people are smart enough to stay away. They're not gonna buy into this shit. Like, it's funny because every time I looked at Facebook or Meta, or whatever you want to call it, as it was falling, each time I saw it falling, I was like, the price is low. I could buy some. And I was like, no, fuck that. I hate these people. I don't like these people at all. I want to see them lose all their money, and I'm not giving them any of my money. So I was like, no, I'm not buying shit. Now, I know people, even in my family, who bought Facebook when it was only like $50 or $60. So they're still up. But my thing is, I would tell them to sell. I would tell, if they've doubled their money, I tell them to sell. It's like, I don't want to put a dime in Zuckerberg's pocket because all he's doing is screwing with people's free speech. And I understand that it's a private corporation, but what they're doing is they're trying to sucker you into their space so that this way, once you're in their space, they can control you. Right now, TikTok is kicking ass. TikTok is kicking so much ass, they can't figure out a way to stop TikTok. These kids, these high schoolers, these college people, these grown-ass women angry about passport bros. All of them are on fucking TikTok. They're saying shit on TikTok they wouldn't even say on Facebook because they know they'd get blocked or banned. At least TikTok isn't blocking or banning them. Now, some people do get blocked and banned on TikTok, so I guess even TikTok is coming around to the bullshit. But the thing about it is, in the very beginning, TikTok didn't give you those problems, and people built up audiences on TikTok. The problem is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all of them hate TikTok, and they want the government to ban TikTok simply because they're losing. They're losing market share. They're losing attention. Their ad revenue is failing. People aren't paying any attention to anything they got on it. Meanwhile, people go on fucking TikTok. People are showing off iPhone cases and they're getting sales. People are showing off water bottles and they're getting sales. Because TikTok is attracting the youth audience. Facebook has been losing the youth audience. Twitter, I don't think ever really had the youth audience. Who else? YouTube, as you've probably noticed, YouTube, Facebook, they had to retool the platform to allow for shorts. It's kind of like in the old days how we had Vine videos where you had like 6-second videos. That's basically what TikTok copied off of. Facebook and YouTube both have to have shorts, and they designed it in pretty much the exact same way where you can just swipe up and you can go from one video to the next to the next. Like every single day, I watch like the same set of videos. There's Japanese sashimi where they're taking fish, beating them to death, and chopping them up while they're still alive, and they're making sashimi. Then after that, there's the guy who's dry aging steak by putting it in like mayonnaise and mustard, this, that, and other. So I watch his videos, and his videos are actually pretty entertaining. I actually watch them. So if I ever dry aged a steak, I'm going to use mayonnaise. That's pretty much what I figured out. After that, there's a couple of police brutality videos where the cops are shooting and killing people. Then that's mixed in with, police just doing their job, shooting and killing people who deserve it. And then after that, then you see a couple of videos of what's crazy on the New York subway. And then after that, you see a couple of videos of fitness gurus, crypto gurus. So basically, it's like the same reel over and over and over and over. TikTok has more content because they have way more people from way more countries getting into it. There's some countries that have straight out blocked Facebook. So, that's just what it is. And TikTok, I'm not sure what stances they've taken against Taiwan independence or what stances they've taken against Ukraine versus Russia or Russia versus Ukraine. I'm not really sure what stances they've taken there. But the one thing I do know is TikTok has sucked the audience away. And to tell you the truth, I used to hate TikTok in the beginning because I used to think it was stupid. But once I realized what they were doing, I was like, you know what? Good for them. Good. I'm so glad that they sucked away Facebook's audience. TikTok is doing to Facebook what Facebook did to MySpace. You always think that there's going to be some new platform and it's going to last forever, but the reality is it never does. And the very simple reason is because these younger audiences are very fickle. They're ADHD. They can't pay attention to anything. Half of these kids are so dumb they can't count to 10 without taking off their shoes. They're ADHD. It's like I gotta see 10 things at once. I can't spend too much time on this. If I look at this for more than 3 seconds, I go crazy. I gotta go to the next thing. It's insane. It's like just insane. And they stay on it all day long and waste all their time. And YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Snap, all of them have been trying to figure out a way to recapture that magic that TikTok conjured up. So right now, this is Facebook. That's Facebook right there. Let's look at the day. This is Facebook right there. You see that? That's today. It went from what is this? It went from 135.52 down to freaking it's gonna open up in the morning at 105. Oh shit, it's still dropping. God damn. It might be $100 in the morning. It just dropped $2. Holy shit. It went to negative 18.66. In the time that I was talking shit, it dropped another 2% basically. How about that? $2. Wow. It might be under $100 come morning, for all I know, at this rate. Good for them. And now for the main event, YouTube. You've probably noticed that I hadn't been posting much this week. Well, there's a reason for that. It says, our team reviewed your content. Unfortunately, we thought it violated our violent or graphic content policy. The video was called Apocalypse Driving Summer Traffic at $5.09 per gallon. Now, to tell you the God's honest truth, what YouTube did, and what bothers me more than the fact that they took that video away and they gave me a strike, what bothers me more than anything is that they didn't let me see the video and see what it was in the video that they didn't like. How am I supposed to know what violated the policy if you take it away and you don't show me what it was? How am I supposed to know? Now, fortunately, this wasn't a copyright strike. This was a, what is it called? I think it was a community strike. Yeah, I think it was a community strike. After a little while, it was a community strike. So it wasn't a copyright strike, it was a community strike. So it goes away after a certain amount of time. But I wasn't able to post anything. Like I couldn't post in my community chat. So they literally, understand this, they did exactly what Facebook did. Facebook would ban you or block you for 30 days, but they wouldn't tell anybody that you'd been banned or blocked. So unless you message somebody else, which they used to actually block your messenger to, unless you message somebody else and let them know what happened so that they could tell everybody, nobody would know. But the problem was you couldn't post it on your channel or you couldn't post it on your Facebook, so you couldn't let everybody know that, okay, yeah, you're taking a vacation for 30 days. They made it so that you couldn't let anybody know. YouTube's done basically the same thing Facebook basically used to do. They disable your uploads for a week. I don't know what the fuck that's about. If you're going to give me the strike and say you can't upload a certain type of content, first of all, you should let me know what that I did to offend. But I want you to also think, most of these social medias, they block people like Andrew Tate, and they don't even tell you why they blocked him. I have no idea what he did. I have no idea what he said. So how do I know not to repeat it if I don't know what he said, did, or whatever it was? Now, I only got one strike. It's one community strike. But the thing that bothers me is that they didn't let me know what it was. They didn't even let me, like, they let you know what the video was, but they didn't let me know what part of the video it was. If my video is 2 or 3 fucking hours long, how the fuck am I supposed to know? So that's one thing. Number two, they made it so for 1 week that you can't post, you can't upload anything. So what I'm doing, thanks to this iPhone 1 terabyte 14 Pro Max, I'm making videos and I'm storing them on the phone until I can upload them. So, you know, that's basically it. Now, I have no idea why they make it so you can't post anything for a week. A week goes by pretty quickly. But not letting you post stuff for a week is just stupid. Because obviously, if the person got a community strike, they're not just going to come right back on and do the exact same thing. The only people who would do something like that are people who get copyright strikes, and they got copyright strikes because they were posting things that they're not allowed to post. Like if you post a movie or a video or something and you have no copyright permits, that's one thing. Or if you're posting pornography or something, that makes sense. But bottom line is, the mere fact that you're hearing this now means that my what is it called? My punishment week is over. So all they did was they basically made me be quiet for a week, but it gave me time to make more content to post. So I'm posting 2 or 3 videos that I developed during the week. It doesn't make any sense. But this is what they're doing. So now to the main. So just like Facebook thought that they could simply kick you around and screw with your free speech, or screw with your ability to speak, or screw with your ability to express yourself, the newest versions of YouTube, which I basically noticed YouTube went really bad in 2020 during COVID. They have a saying, you go woke, you grow broke. Well, basically, Facebook sided with leftists, and Facebook basically alienated a large percentage of its audience, not just the right-wingers, not just the people who were posting all those pro-Trump memes and stuff like that, but they even ended up alienating people on the left, and they alienated people in the middle, because now they basically made it so that you weren't free to talk about what you wanted to talk about. Well, guess what? The exact same thing has basically happened to YouTube, because regardless what side of the political spectrum you're on, simply by using advertiser friendliness as a pretext for censorship, which is basically what they're doing. If you post something and they, this is not advertiser friendly, then that allows them to censor you by limiting your videos. Now, I want to point out something. In the old days of YouTube, YouTube made it so that you could, well, first of all, if I go really, really far back, I don't know if you're old enough to remember, YouTube used to have a video response button. So if somebody made a video and you wanted to respond to that video, all you had to do was click video response, and that would allow you to make a video response to that video. And if I'm not mistaken, that video response was either attached to that person's video, or in the algorithm, it was recommended right away because it was a video response to that person's video. So they took that away. Then later on, YouTube took away the ability for you to automatically add in links to your videos to tell people where to go to see certain things, making it so that you can only put it in the URL section. So example, if I made a video 10 years ago and I was like, yeah, I want you to watch this video that I made 10 years ago, and I clicked the thumbnail at the very end of this video or in the middle or whatever, well, they basically made it so you couldn't do that. I forget what they called it. It wasn't tiles, but it came before tiles. And then they got rid of that. Because what they ultimately wanted was they wanted to drive the recommendations using the algorithm. Since COVID, since the quarantine, the pandemic, I've noticed that a whole lot of YouTubers have lost a whole lot of viewership. Now, they may have gained subscribers. Some of them purchased subscribers from those Russian bot farms. Some of them had other ways of gaining subscribers. But for the most part, I've noticed that a whole lot of people, even people who have 500,000 and 600,000 subscribers, I know people who have 800,000 subscribers and they can barely get views on their videos. What I've noticed is because of YouTube's algorithm, a whole lot of people have lost a whole lot of traffic. Not only that, but as you can see, a whole lot of those super big YouTubers have lost a whole lot of money because YouTube's ad revenue is shrinking. I would say the reason for that is number one, because the algorithm sucks. The recommendation system that they're using with that algorithm sucks. I think the ads are, I'm trying to think of a word. The ads are so invasive at this point. Sometimes I'm like watching a video, like I may be watching like a really simple video made by like a small creator. And I'm watching and listening to it, and then all of a sudden an ad just comes in out of nowhere. Like the person might be cook. Let's say the person's making a steak or something. He's like, okay, now I'm going to show you how to baste the steak. Click, all of a sudden it's a fucking ad. And I'm like, listen, you could have put the ad at the beginning or the end, but I really wanted to see this part. And now you're making me get out of the shower so I can push skip ad. I don't care what the ad is because it's annoying. So their whole ad policy sucks. Now, I think another problem there is that a lot of people started using ad blockers. I've never used ad blockers. And I know the first thing you're going to say is, oh, yeah, well, you should use an ad blocker. Well, if I used ad blockers, then that would be taking away money from the content creators that I actually like watching. And the problem is, where is the balance? There's no balance between taking away their ad revenue by not watching the ads run on their channel or being bombarded with ads that you don't want to see. There's like no balance. So as you can see, YouTube's shrinking ad business is an ominous sign for the battered online ad market. Well, there's a number of things going on right now. First of all, the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates. Most of these sites have taken stances against politics because they don't want to be blamed for being one-sided and this, that, and other. So basically what they've done is they've just made certain ads and they've made certain YouTube content just limited, and they say, oh yeah, well, it's not advertiser friendly, when ultimately what they're doing is they know that one side's about to get its ass whipped. So what they're doing is they're basically trying to make it appear that they're neutral by just saying, oh, well, we're not really censoring you. We just don't think that you're friendly for advertisers, which basically knocks you down in the algorithm. It basically knocks you down. So, yeah, the YouTube shrinking ad business is an ominous sign for the battered online market. The other issue with the market is people are shopping less. A lot of people don't have the money to shop. I think that this Christmas 2022, I think this holiday season, I'm pretty sure revenues are going to be lower than they were last year. I'm fairly certain about that. A lot of people are using their credit cards just to be able to afford basic groceries and shit, like just to buy milk and bread. I think we may have reached a point, and I think Apple already felt it too. Google's felt it, Apple's felt it. People aren't buying this shit no more. It used to be easy to mindlessly go out and buy a brand new iPhone. It used to be easy to mindlessly go out and buy new toys and shit. It's not like that no more. The interest rates are so high now that, before you put this on your credit card, you really got to think about it, or before you go out and try to buy a car, you really got to, first of all, you got to clear yourself because most of you got shitty credit and you can't afford it. Buying a house is damn near impossible. You can't find one. Even if you find one, you're looking at a 7% interest rate. So you're basically paying twice what you'd be paying had you bought the place in January. So no, they've got a mess on their hands. Now, YouTube revenue declined for the first time since Google started reporting the division's earnings separately. Now, Google itself has also declined. I think right now Google is trading under $100, if I'm not mistaken. But they should mention it in this article. It says Alphabet's total quarterly revenue growth drastically declined from 41 cents to 6%. YouTube is basically the backbone of their advertising platform. So for them to have this kind of decline tells you that, yeah, there's something seriously wrong. Now, my strategy is buying their stock while it's low, because the mere fact that right now they've had their stock split and their stock is at extreme lows. You buy into these stocks now, whether it's Google, Alphabet, Microsoft, whatever. The point is, within a year or two, once things get back to normal or close to normal, things should get better. It says the growth rate of Microsoft's search and news advertising business has been shrinking each quarter of the past year. Now, this is Microsoft, coincided with the general downward trajectory of the entire online advertising market. But I'll tell you this, TikTok's doing fine, though. The online advertising market continues to suffer as heavyweights Google, Alphabet, and Microsoft reported disappointing sales during their most recent quarters. YouTube advertising revenue dropped 2% year over year to $7.07 billion during Google's parent third quarter, missing analyst estimates of $7.42 billion. It was the first time YouTube's ad revenue shrank on a year-over-year basis since the company started breaking out the division's results in 2019. Now, you see, I always hoped that YouTube would be its own stock, but I don't think that's going to happen. And at this point, I really don't think that's going to happen. Alphabet's overall revenue growth drastically declined from 41% a year ago to 6%, underscoring how fears of a looming recession. Okay, you see, this pisses me off. Fears of a looming recession? Excuse me, motherfucker. You are in a recession. Not only is this a recession, this may even be stagflationary environment. I keep saying the same thing, and I'm going to say it again and again and again and again. The real recession, the official recession, the recession officially begins on November 9th. The day after we cast those votes and everybody finds out who got fired and who stays in their seats in Congress, that's when you're going to find out the truth about this recession. That's when Joe Biden's going to suddenly run out of strategic petroleum in the reserve. That's when you're going to find out how deep in debt we really are. That's when you're going to see inflation hit. Right now, they are artificially suppressing gas prices. I've said this numerous times. They are artificially suppressing gas, energy, oil, natural gas prices by using the strategic oil reserve. On top of that, most of these states have canceled their gas taxes. My state had a 48-cent gas tax, which was canceled during the summer to drop gas prices by about 48 cents. Guess what happens in December when we see that $600 million deficit and the gas tax comes back? Well, guess what? Now you're in some deep shit because gas just goes up 48 cents just like that. Why do you think I'm buying an electric fucking Cadillac? Do you think that I'm buying it because gas is cheap? Of course not. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't understand the logic behind any of this, which it's not really your place to. But the thing about it is energy is going to go up considerably. And as I said, Europe is going to freeze its ass off. America is going to be selling energy to Europe. And the countries that said fuck America, like Pakistan, India, Russia, China, they're going to basically be selling gasoline, oil, natural gas, and coal to themselves. And they'll be shipping it to other parts of Southeast Asia. Anybody in Southeast Asia who's a leader who's smart is going to stick with China on this one because the last thing they want is for America to make them suffer too, like we're doing right now to Germany. Do you realize right now if you're in Germany, you might only have 1 hour of heat per day? And on some days, if you're lucky, it might go up to 4 hours, and they're projecting that may happen in January. See, that's the shit that they're not talking about on these shitty-ass channels like MSNBC and CNN and Fox. I have to bring this stuff up, but I get lowered in the algorithm because, unfortunately, I tell too much of the truth for some people to hear. Oh, well. So anyway, last week's Snap set the tone for the online Snapchat. I guess that is Snap. I guess that's Snapchat. Advertising market when it missed it missed third quarter analyst estimates with $1.13 billion in sales, sending its shares tumbling more than over 30%. Snapchat is bullshit. I think I tried to use Snapchat like maybe once, and I was like, this is fucking stupid. It's like, why am I taking a photo of anything unless I plan on saying something about it? And that's ultimately what pushed Facebook and Instagram so far. Snapchat is stupid. But anyway, Microsoft also reported a slowdown in its online advertising business. Its search and news advertising business, including Bing and Microsoft News, two things I don't use, reported sales growth of 16% in September, the first of its fiscal year, which is far below the 40% revenue it reported a year earlier. Indeed, the growth rate of that business has been shrinking each quarter of the past year, coinciding with the general downward trajectory of the entire online advertising market. Well, guess what? The advertising market really doesn't matter if people aren't spending the money. Additionally, Microsoft's LinkedIn quarterly sales growth shrank to 17%, down from 42% during the same period in 2021. Honestly, I have no idea why I'm on LinkedIn. These people keep offering me jobs. I run a fucking business. It's like, why are you offering me jobs? Not only that, they keep trying to connect me with people I absolutely don't know and don't want to know. Like they keep trying to connect me with people. Oh, do you know this guy who went to your school when you were in China? It's like, no, I don't know this person. It's like I barely I had like six friends. I had like six friends that were Chinese and maybe 12 that were foreigners. And I haven't talked to most of those people in like the last 20 years. So it's like, no, I don't want to be connected to these other people. Meanwhile, Meta on Wednesday is expecting to report its second straight quarter of declining sales, underscoring the current turmoil in online advertising. Judging from the recent earnings reports of various tech giants, it's unlikely that the Facebook parent is going to report any signs that the online advertising market is set for a rebound. And as you can see, no, they didn't. So what is it? Alphabet Class A, $97, Microsoft 245.15. Now, I'm fortunate that I pretty much bought these stocks before, like when we had, what was it called? The COVID, March 18th through the 2020. When we had the crashes, that's when I started spending all my money on stocks. So even when I bought into their splits later on, I'm still up. Now, unfortunately, if you bought into the splits for like I think Amazon is okay, but if you bought into the split with Google right before Russia versus Ukraine, yeah, you got fucked. But guess what? If you're holding on to 20 shares or more, just forget that they exist. Sit on them. Wait 2 or 3 years. I guarantee they'll be back up. Google makes a lot of products. Right now, we're in recession. If it takes until Biden's out of office, if it takes 5 years, if it takes 6 years, if it takes 8 years, if it takes 10 years, eventually you're going to make your money back. And it might be sooner than you think. The downside that I think it's really unfortunate. It almost felt like a rug pull. These tech companies must have seen the writing on the wall. GameStop did a split. Tesla did a split. Google did a split. Amazon did a split. And then, what was it? Not that long ago, okay, Nvidia did a split before we started shit with China and Taiwan, which caused their stocks to plummet. And right before that, Tesla and Apple did their splits. But they did theirs, I think, in 2020, summer 2020. So it's almost like they saw the writing on the wall. It's like, you know what? We're about to lose a lot of money. And these people are about to go into recession. So what we're going to do is we're going to sucker as much money out of these people as we can. And then, they'll own our shares. But for the most part, the market's going to be down. If we're in recession, everything's going down. It's just going down. That's what a recession is. We've had since what, 2001 with easy money. Alan Greenspan lowered the interest rates. Then after that, you got 2008 financial crash. You got lower interest rates. You walk till the present. You had lower interest rates. You had 0% interest rates during COVID. We've built up low interest rate, false growth. And right now, this very real recession is going to make us pay for that false growth. And there's no way around it. And that's the market. That's the market right there. So I'd said a whole lot of stuff. We're dealing with technocrats trying to control our information, trying to aggregate our information, and then trying to control our freedom of speech. But now they've literally shot themselves in the foot because as some of us decide to leave, as some of us become less participatory, well, they basically shot themselves in the foot. And now you see it. Facebook's fucking stock is in the toilet. If Google keeps this shit up with this bullshit algorithm, their stock will be in the toilet too. If you don't want to say it already is. But that's just what you're dealing with. Meanwhile, I bet TikTok's kicking ass. I bet TikTok is kicking ass and taking names. The Chinese weren't going to allow their people to turn stupid on this stuff. So they give us one version of TikTok and they use the other version. They use the version which is educational, where it's not crazy. that where they don't have women denouncing passport bros. That's the version the Chinese use. And that's just what you got. That's the market for you right there. There's the market for you. So going forward, I don't know what's next. I really don't know. So my thing is, I have lost a lot of viewership. Now, fortunately for me, YouTube for me was always a strategy. It was a tax strategy. When you are a YouTube journalist and you make over $600 in a year, that allows you to file business tax deductions. If you have no other way to file business tax deductions, you can label yourself a journalist. My CPA labeled me a journalist because technically that's what I'm doing right now. My CPA labeled me a journalist. When I go on vacation, I go to the fucking Far East, go to Bora Bora, go to Maldives, Seychelles, whatever it is, fly business class. All those receipts I'm sending right to the CPA. The CPA is writing all that off as a business expense. That's the law. That as long as you follow the law, you ain't got a problem. I keep all of my receipts. I keep all my business receipts. I keep all my YouTube receipts. I keep everything, all of them. The only things I don't keep is like groceries. Like if I go to like Trader Joe's or Costco or BJ's, I just throw those out. But for the most part, even gas can be written off if you're using a vehicle for work. Mileage can be written off if you're using a vehicle for work in certain cases. Your clothes can be written off if they're uniform. If I have a tag on my clothes that has my name and the company, that's a uniform. And a uniform is clothing that can be written off. There's so many business class tax deductions. Using YouTube has been a strategy for me because a lot of YouTubers, they've been feeling it too. They've been feeling a loss of viewership. They've been feeling the algorithm fucking them. So they always say, oh man, well, if I woke up tomorrow and there's no more YouTube, well, what am I going to do? There are some YouTubers who travel overseas and they use YouTube money as their main way of paying for everything. And that's why they post very regularly all the time. Most of them understand. They're like, yo, if I'm losing viewership or if I'm losing revenue, I can't depend on YouTube. It could be, it's just like years ago, I was also on a site called ePinions. It was part of shopping.com. Now, whatever happened, they allowed themselves to get purchased, I think, by eBay, and eBay very quickly got rid of them. I don't know why eBay did it, but eBay did basically the exact same thing to them that YouTube's done to a lot of YouTubers. eBay bought them. eBay changed the algorithm up and made it very difficult for them to make money. In the early days of shopping.com and ePinions, the ad revenue was off the charts. It was very easy to make $2,000 or $3,000 a month. And I'm not even joking. A lot of YouTubers right now, in order to see that kind of money, they have to rely on super chats. They have to rely on cash apps. The problem with cash apps, as you know, is that, the Biden administration made it so if you go over $600 in cash apps, well, first of all, you had to report it anyway. But the Biden administration stepped up enforcement of underreporting. So for the people who haven't been reporting the amount of money they've been making in cash apps, well, the IRS is going to show up to your doorstep. They're going to have a tax bill in one hand, and they're going to have a dildo with KY jelly just dripping down it in the other hand. Now, it's your choice which one you're going to take. Either you're going to pay that bill right then and there, or you're getting the dildo. That's just what it is. So they're going to show up one way or another. For all you people with this cryptocurrency shit who haven't filed your, 1099K, I believe? I believe it's your 1099K is your cryptocurrency income statements or whatever. And you get the Coinbase and all the rest of them wallets, them little bullshit wallets, Webull, WeTrust, all that shit, Trust Wallet, all that stuff. If you haven't filed your 1099K, IRS is going to show right up to your doorstep. They're going to have a tax bill in one hand, and they're going to have a big, juicy, thick, delicious dildo that's got KY jelly just dripping up and down it, just like a Dunkin' Donuts glazed jelly donut with Butterfinger and blueberry all over. Butterfinger, yes, Butterfinger, because it's going in your butt. Yes, the IRS is going to show up, and if you ain't got their money, you're done. You're done. So, yeah, understand that it's real. Me personally, I can't wait to pay my taxes. I keep all my receipts in neat little envelopes, separated. I can't wait to see my CPA because I don't owe money. I get money back. Each year, I'm looking at around $10,000 of tax return. Now, the first thing somebody's be like, oh, yeah, well, you're just giving the government interest-free loans. I'm like, yo, listen, I'll do whatever it takes to keep them off my ass, okay? Let me say that again. I don't give a shit how much the government's making as long as it keeps them off my ass. Because for most of y'all who think you're smarter than the system, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to underreport. I'm not going to tell them about my Dogecoin earnings. I'm not going to tell them about my Bitcoin earnings. I'm not going to tell them about... IRS is going to show right up to your doorstep, or you're going to be doing... You might be asleep, and all of a sudden, IRS is going to show right up to your doorstep. They're going to have a tax bill in one hand. They're going to have a 13-inch purple gel dildo in the other hand, and it's going to have a special flavor of KY jelly Reese's peanut butter sauce all up and down that thing, and it's going to be dripping like Alien 3. And you're done. So no, I pay my taxes. That's one thing I learned from watching Looney Tunes. No, I pay my fucking taxes. They ain't getting me. So they're going to get you, but they ain't getting me. So that's the bottom line. So as far as YouTube goes, YouTube's a tax strategy. I was taking my YouTube money. Some of it I was saving. The rest I was investing in the stock market. That's how I'm able to buy these shares. You think it's easy to say, oh, yeah, well, I'm just going to take $10,000 and buy Tesla. Or you think it's easy to say, oh, yeah, well, I'm just going to take a couple $1,000s and buy Google. That shit ain't easy. That's YouTube money at work. A lot of you dudes, a lot of you gals out there, you're taking your YouTube money. Next thing you know, you're going to buy, You're going to buy Gucci Femi, Prada bags. You're buying fucking Yeezys. Kanye West. They just cut ties with him. Kanye West, as Patrice O'Neal said when Patrice O'Neal explained Hollywood, Kanye West owes. Kanye West betrayed his position in the beast. And they got him. They got him. I heard that he lost billions of dollars just by Adidas cutting ties with him. That's his net worth reduced by over $1 billion just like that. So nah, man. If Zuckerberg can lose 300 to 500 million or billion, I'm sorry, if Zuckerberg can lose that much money, Facebook could lose 300 to 500 billion dollars. If Google and YouTube, which were powerhouses before they started with this woke bullshit and this leftist Democrat nonsense, if they can lose this much revenue, anybody could get it. Kanye could get it. Anybody could get it. Snapchat could get it. Meta could get it. Peloton could get it. Netflix could get it. Don't you get it? They're not playing games. You got to be smarter than that. So the bottom line is, it's like you got to treat these online social things as a strategy. You use it for free advertising. They use you for free advertising. And then you take your money and run. That's how it has to work. So yeah, I'll be posting these videos and I've gotten strikes before, but usually when I get a strike, it's only like usually one and then it goes away after like a month or two. So no, I'm not worried. Everything is still on plan. I've got my money saved up. As soon as my Cadillac is ready for delivery, I'm getting my electric Cadillac. All the Joe Biden gas problems in the world ain't going to worry me one bit because I'll be paying the same rate for electricity that you're paying for your electricity in your house. and I'll have one bill. I'll have an electric bill and all that gas. I'll let y'all be lined up at a fucking gas station in the winter trying to get fucking gas. Meanwhile, I got an extension cord and I'm plugging into my grandmama's house, or I'm plugging into my uncle's house, or I'm plugging into my house, or I'm plugging into my office building or something like that. So I ain't even worried about it. But that's the plan. So that's that. I just had to put these videos up because I had to respond and I had to be transparent with what happened. So, whatever comments you make, I'll be sure to read them and everything. But that's just what it is. That's the reason why I was gone for a week. It's not like I was on vacation this time around. I was gone for a week because of censorship nonsense. But I'm back.